So, welcome to this explainer. Look, if you've ever walked into a dance studio, dropped your bags on the floor, and just immediately slid right down into a painful center split while catching up with your friends, yeah, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're basically talking about a complete paradigm shift. We're going to break down a totally scientifically backed, dancer-focused approach to prepping your body. It's all about getting those muscles and joints ready for movement, dialing in your coordination, and safely transitioning into those really deep ranges of motion without tearing yourself apart. Which leads me to a pretty big question. Are you actually stretching backwards? Because we all kind of have this ingrained idea that forcing a stretch right out of the gate is the absolute best way to get pliable. But the truth? Stretching completely cold before a class isn't just a bad habit. It's actively hindering your performance and, worse, increasing your risk of injury. Our source material today breaks down exactly why this old-school method needs a serious update and how we can swap it out for a much, much smarter prep routine.
Okay, quick look at our roadmap for today. 1. Rethinking the warm-up entirely. 2. The 5-step foundation. 3. Common mistakes we need to avoid. And 4. Tailoring this routine to your specific class.
All right, let's dive right into part 1, rethinking the dancer's warm-up. I want you to think about your muscles kind of like a frozen rubber band, right? The old way of warming up basically meant taking that cold, stiff tissue and just forcing it into static stretches. Honestly, that's a fast track to injury, and it actually reduces your tissue's overall tolerance. The new way? We have to light the fire first. You raise your body's internal heat, you activate those muscles, and you literally save the static stretching for the very end of your sequence. Prioritizing temperature and activation first makes your whole training session feel so much smoother and significantly safer. Moving right along to part 2, the 5-step foundation. Okay, so here is the brilliant 5-step progression we're going to use to safely prep the engine. And look, whether you're taking ballet, hip-hop, contemporary, modern, whatever, this sequence absolutely works. It goes temperature, activation, mobility, mini drills, and finally, stretch. Step 1 is strictly about raising that internal body temperature. You're going to want to spend about 5 to 8 minutes on some light, rhythmic activity to really get the blood flowing. The secret here is keeping the intensity moderate. You want to feel warm and flushed, definitely not exhausted, so you still have the energy to work cleanly later on. Think easy jogging in place, maybe some skipping, or gentle walking lunges with arm swings. Oh, and a crucial pro tip. If you're jumping into class after a long break, just add an extra 2 minutes here to make sure your body is fully awake. Next up, step 2, activation. Take another 5 to 7 minutes to wake up the muscles that actually stabilize your hips, knees, and ankles, because really, those are your body's true shock absorbers in dance. We're talking glute bridges, slow calf raises, and bird dogs. Now, your absolute priority right now is focusing on controlled reps with perfect alignment. Do not worry about massive ranges of motion yet. Actually, if you feel any pinching in the front of your hip during this, that's your cue to just shrink your range a bit. Now, before we hit step 3, we kind of need to redefine a buzzword we hear all the time, mobility. You really have to forget about forced, painful stretching. True mobility is more about feeling like you have smooth, repeatable access to a movement. It's that feeling of being able to move into a position and just hold it for a second at the end range with total, absolute control. Keeping that fresh mindset, step 3 dedicates 6 to 10 minutes to actual dance-relevant joint mobility. You want to target the things you're going to use heavily. Think ankle dorsiflexion work against a wall, some gentle 90-90 hip openers, and maybe some open-book thoracic spine rotations. And please, listen to me on this one. Mild discomfort is totally fine, but if you feel any sharp pain or numbness, that is your body screaming at you to stop and back off immediately. All right, step 4. This is where we bridge the gap from general physical prep straight into your actual class. Take 4 to 8 minutes for dance-specific mini drills. You're basically giving your exact choreography a dress rehearsal, but under warm, safe conditions. So that might mean slow, stable releves and pliés with controlled turnout for ballet, or practicing safe takeoff hinges for leaps, or even some supported warm rolling to prep your spine if you're heading into a floor work-heavy contemporary class. And finally, step 5. Yes, we made it to stretching. Notice how it comes dead last? Because your body is fully warm, activated, and mobilized now, this stretch is going to be incredibly effective. Just spend 3 to 8 minutes on the areas that are still feeling tight. Hold them for roughly 20 to 40 seconds per position for maybe 1 or 2 reps. The absolute crucial tip here, remember to actually breathe and consciously tell the muscles you aren't actively stretching to just let go and relax. Oh, and if you're about to do some super intense jumps right after this, keep this flexibility work pretty short and controlled. Okay, moving to part 3, common mistakes to avoid. Look, even a masterfully crafted routine can totally backfire if you fall into these common traps. Number 1, stretching before you're actually warmed up. Number 2, gritting your teeth and forcing a stretch into sharp, painful end ranges. Number 3 is huge, skipping your glute and calf activation. If you skip that, you're practically guaranteeing you'll have messy movement compensations later on. Number 4, holding your breath and trapping all that tension inside. And lastly, using stretching as a lazy substitute for actual strength building.
Which brings us to our final section, Part 4, Tailoring Your Routine.
Because let's be real, not every class demands the exact same prep. You really have to shift your focus to match the choreography of the day. Having a heavy jump day? You'll want to prioritize ankle and calf control, and definitely skip the super long static stretches right before. What about intense floor work? Hit that thoracic mobility and spinal extension early on. And a turning heavy day absolutely demands extra ankle stability and balance activation. Basically, you just adapt those 5 core steps to serve exactly what you need that day. So what's the magic number for this whole master plan? According to our sources, you're looking at 20 to 35 minutes. You really want to aim to build a consistent, repeatable pre-class routine that fits right into that specific window. And once you have that solid baseline down, it becomes so easy to just tweak it on the fly based on how your body is feeling.
I want to leave you with one absolutely vital takeaway straight from our source material. Flexibility and stability work together. Seriously, stretching is never, ever a substitute for strength. As you implement this new routine, you'll find that your range of motion and your control start improving at the exact same time, creating this beautiful synergy that keeps you performing at your peak and, most importantly, injury-free.
So knowing that a proper chronological progression, heat, activation, mobility drills, and finally stretching allows you to train so much harder and safer, I have to ask, how are you going to rewrite your first 20 minutes in the studio tomorrow? Because next time you walk onto that floor, I want you to drop the cold split, raise your temperature, and actually set yourself up for true success. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and we'll see you next time.